Hiya everybody, this is Michelle and this is episode 2 of the Owl and the Oak Tree Knitting Podcast. The reason I chose that name was because I love owls and my husband's name is Oak, so I thought it was pretty fitting. You can find me in all of the places as Michelle Owls. I'm mostly on Instagram, and I also started a Ravelry group for the podcast. If you just go to Ravelry, go to the groups tab and do the search for the Owl and the Oak Tree Knitting Podcast, and you'll find the group. I have a few thank yous I'd like to say. One is to Tanya, who is Busy Mama on Instagram, and she is the host of the Sampler Girl audio podcast. She used to do some video podcasts, but now I think is going to do strictly just audio. And she mentioned my podcast on her latest episode, or I just saw that she just put out another one, so whatever, you understand what I'm saying. And I wanted to say a big huge thank you to all the people who have sent me lovely messages about my first episode, and for all of those who have subscribed to my channel so far, so thank you so much. In this episode, I'm going to talk about knitting, of course, some sewing plans, mail, things I'm going to be casting on soon, some books, and I'm going to have a segment called Whatcha, which is what you're reading, what you're listening to. So just Whatcha for reading, listening, and watching. So let's get on with the knitting. Some of the things I have been working on is this. I finished this sock, and it's called Little Pumpkin Socks by Sabine Rupert. And this, Laura from the Fawn and the Fox knitting podcast. She also has an Etsy shop called the Fawn and the Fox. She does yarn, or dyes yarn, she makes project bags, and this was her Moonrise Kingdom colorway. Isn't that pretty? This yarn just wanted to be these socks. And I didn't do the heel that was in the pattern, I just did the slip one, knit one heel. And one thing, I wish I would have knitted a little bigger, but I think this will be fine. But I love it. Those pumpkins are so cute. Urgh. I haven't cast on the other one yet. I just finished it last night. And it is being housed in the project bag that she also made. This was part of one of her kits. Let's Stay Home, I think, and it came with a skein of yarn in this bag, and I just had to have this bag. And I actually made a dress, a washi dress with this fabric. And this, oh, I forgot to say, is part of Laura's knit along called Knit Halloween 2016. And she also has it in her Ravelry group, but if you want to post it on Instagram, use that hashtag. And as my needle cozy, this is from Little Bobbins, and it has foxes on it, so I thought that was fitting. Little Bobbins, she has a podcast, and her name is Danny. And she also has an Etsy shop, which she keeps posting about the secret sewing she's doing. Danny, I'm really intrigued, and I'm so excited to see what it is. And I hope that, okay, here it is. And this is from the Gnome Knitter. It is this cute little witch's hat cupcake that I ordered. I ordered one for myself, and I'm doing a swap in the O Loops podcast, or for the Harry Potter knit along for Halloween, and I got her one of these too. And Joanna also sent an extra one, and I think I'm going to put it back for a future giveaway. She's also the one that had those Birdie Bots Every Flavor bean progress keepers. She does a really good job. And here's her card. And here's her information on the back. And she sells on Etsy. I don't know if that said on there. So there's that. And I have so much of this yarn left. So we'll see how much I have left. Maybe I can make with a contrasting toe, heel, and cuff, because I really like how it looks even just in stockinette. Okay, there's that. Put everything back in here. Okay, and my next pair of socks that I've been working on is the zigzagular socks. And the yarn is London House Yarns, and this is the For Founders colorway. And then the heel is just a mini skein from O Loops that I got a while ago. I think it was like a Sherlock Holmes mini skein set. I don't remember. I think that's what it was though. I am loving these. Oh my gosh, this yarn feels amazing, and it's amazing to knit with. And I can't wait to wear them. And I've only kind of cast on the cuff. I just started the cabling. And this bag is by Indigo Crane, and this pen is a triple decker bus that I got my first time going to the Harry Potter world. July 2010. I was hugely pregnant with my first, and I had to go because it just opened up that summer, and I didn't know when I'd be back. So yeah, I got this pen. And anything else I wanted to say about that? I think so. And my next pair of socks, there's like a million socks on the needles, is by Spun Right Round. Here's her tag. And it's the Reckless colorway. And you guys, I think I want to make a sweater out of this. Oops. Look at that. Speckly goodness right there. Now, if you watched my first episode, you would have noticed that I was doing it toe up. Well, I usually do 64 stitches on my 1.5s, 2.5 millimeter. And it just looked huge. And I don't know if it's the yarn maybe a little bit more plump than I'm used to knitting with. I don't think my gauge is off because the other two socks fit me fine. So I went down to 60 stitches with this. But man, look at that. It just, I think, wants to be a sweater. But I don't think I want to knit a sweater on 2.5 millimeters. But I really love this fabric. And maybe on 2s. It's just gorgeous. I did a bunch of this this past weekend. My husband is really big into blacksmithing, and it's called Quad State in Troy, Ohio. And I went there with him on Sunday, and we were watching this. I don't remember his name. I just remember he was from Germany, making a bench, and I knit a bunch of it. I'd say this much while watching his demonstration. And I just love it. And here's my little owl progress keeper. And let's see. I have 2 more things to show in the knitting, for the knitting. Let's go with this. Oh, weapon showing tags. The Reckless socks is in my fat squirrel bag. My sock size and the one of the Charlie Harper fabrics. And here's another, oops, fat squirrel bag. I just love this fabric. This is the Mia Cardi. And I finished the body portion of the sweater. It's kind of wrinkly. I have a little cloud. It's from O-Loops. I think the owl one's from O-Loops too. And I modified the pattern by, instead of garter stitch, I did seed stitch, and I've done the owl lace portion, or owl lace on the back instead of just plain stockinette. So when when you modify a pattern, let's just say I was starting on a sleeve and knit it for 4.5 hours, and then looked at it and was like, wait a minute, that sleeve is in garter stitch. Or I, modified it to make it seed stitch. So I had to rip it all out, and I didn't work on it, but I did put some stitches on the needle, but then I was like, you know what, I'm putting it away. I was mad at myself. I can't believe it. Oh well. Knitting woes. And the last project I'm going to show is another Amy Beth Fat Squirrel bag. And this is my mom's hat. It's the bow hat. It's getting there. You can kind of see the tree here and some cables. I love this hat so much. Here's the little teacup progress keeper. Hopefully the lighting is good. It's really rainy and dark outside, so I had to use the overhead light. But my kind of weather, I really like gloomy, rainy weather. Perfect for knitting and drinking tea. Anyway, I love it. Love this hat. Oh, and this is in the Quince & Co. Peaks Berry colorway and the Lark weight, which is like a worsted weight. It's nice and plumpy. Okay. And then back to the sweater. This is an Ella Ray Lace Merino DK, which honestly I think is more like a fingering weight than a DK weight. And this is the Red Flowers colorway, but it's more of like a burnty orange color. Sewing. Okay, so I purchased a couple of patterns online. The first one is this willow tank, but I'm going to do the top. I'm hoping to sew 2 tops for Rhinebeck because I doubt I'm going to get that sweater done. That's okay. I have some of this fabric left, and I think I'll have just enough to make that tank top. I've had this fabric forever, and when the Twilight series was really huge, my friends and I would go to the movies and watch them. I made everybody tote bags with this fabric on it and with black canvas on the outside, and I embroidered Twilight on the tote bag. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy young women saga drama. I don't know what I'm trying to say. And then I purchased this initially to make another washi dress, but I think it might just be too much gingham. So I think I'm just going to make a willow tank out of this fabric as well. And I think it would look really good with this, my cardigan. Which, speaking of my cardigan, this is the Rocky Coast, I think, by Hannah Fettig. It's one of her cabley sweaters. So I have those to think about, and I've purchased some Swedish tracing paper to trace out the pattern and just cut the pattern out of that instead of cutting the pattern itself. And then Katie from Inside Number 23 podcast did this sew along in August, and she did a lot of tutorial videos, and I went to make skirt B, and I've never sewn a skirt before, especially with the zipper and all that. So I'm going to watch her videos and hopefully make a skirt. And I'm thinking about maybe getting a lightweight corduroy for it. We shall see. I don't know yet. I don't know of any fabric stores near me that would sell what I'm wanting. So hopefully I can just order it online. Okay, here's that. And let's see, things I'm going to be casting on October 1 because the Harry Potter knit along with O Loops, and it's in 2 bags that I won from them last year. And this is by Stitch Marks the Spot, which her name is Stephanie. That's her Ravelry ID, and I think that's also her Instagram ID. And this says Stitch Marks the Spot. And it's like a divination kind of a bag with a crystal ball. Zipper pull. Alright, this is going to be a sweater for my son. This is the Ella Rae Classic Heathers. I'm teaching the beginner sweater class. I don't know if anybody signed up yet or not, but it's just a classic pullover by Jane Richmond. But I think what I want to do is I have her child's classic pullover. I'm just going to make it into a cardigan. So we'll see. That's one of the challenges, is to knit something for a kid. So hopefully I can get that done in October. And then I haven't scanned it up yet, but this is a No Loops little sock bag. And then on the back it has this embroidered on it, Harry Potter Cal 2015. And it came with this zipper pull. And this is the Progress Keeper, I guess I'm decided to use, which I got from Lena. Oh, I'm going to put her information in the show notes. I can't remember what her shop's called or her podcast. I'll put it in the show notes, but I ordered that from her. She lives in Norway. And it's that butterbeer I showed you last week. That butterbeer. And you've got something just there. And this is going to be, what is it called? It's French. And I haven't taken French since high school. So, je sens elle, I don't know. But it's a sock pattern that she has designed. And it's kind of a short sock, but what I'm going to do is just make it longer. Let's see, and I'm gonna go over some purchases. A couple weeks ago, I went to a wool gathering, which is held in Yellow Springs, Ohio, And a couple people that I was really excited to see was vending there this year. One was Martha, that is the proprietress of Tuft Woolens. So I bought a ton of from her. And Destination Yarn was there. And I feel like there were a few more vendors than normal. But let's start with yarn. This is from Destination Yarn. Here's her tag. She sells on Etsy. And it's the Lake Erie colorway. My family and I go up to Lake Erie every year. And before we had kids, we'd go in the fall, and still went into the fall until they started school. So now we go into the summer, and it is just so different. There's so many people up there now, and which is fine, but introverted me really liked going up there when it was really secluded. So I think I'm going to cast-ons when we go up there this summer. I really love these colors. It's really pretty. And this is on her Letter Plus base, which is an 80/20, 400 yards. And there is this, well, they had this table outside, and I thought that was all that they had, and that the caravan behind them was just, you know, where they were sleeping or whatever. No, this is called the Yarn Truck, Yarnbirds LLC. And I guess they travel all around here. I'm not too sure. But I went inside and saw this. And it said, "Take me home and make me a pair of socks, please." And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her, Sia Sty. But while I was purchasing it, she said, the owner said that this lady is a criminal investigator by day and a yarn dyer by night, which just made me extremely excited because I just love all that mystery criminal shows and books and everything. And so it made it more exciting to have this. This is an 80/20, 400 yards. And the name is Dia de los Muertos. I don't think I've said that right, but there you go. That's how you spell it. And I think that's her website. I haven't checked it out yet. But I really love this color. Oh, speckly goodness. And while I was there, I also purchased this basket. Had to get me a basket. I wanted to get me a basket last year. I didn't. And so I made sure I did this here. And when I went to Martha's booth, I got a couple of her soaps. I got some wool soaps and some bath soaps and a lotion body balm. But this is her card. Here's the front. Here's the back. There's her information. And the wool soaps I got were chai spice, which is perfect because I love me some chai tea. It smells so good. And I guess she just introduced the scent. It's lemon biscotti. And the smell, okay, I'm an 80s child, so the smell reminds me of the lemon meringue from the Strawberry Shortcake dolls. And so this smell kind of takes me back to my childhood. So of course I got the body balm in that same scent. And then I got the autumn berry soap and pink peppermint. There's a glare. Where's it coming from? There we go. And I got another one of these. So I've ordered from her before some wool soap samples. I don't know if she still does that in her shop or not, but I wanted to get another one of these. And some purchases I've made recently, besides what I just showed you. Where I work, we sell the Frabjou fibers. I just always want to call it the Mad Hatter or the Wonderland yarns, but that's not their name. This is just this yarn, not the brand name. But I purchased this, and I've knit with this before, the same colorway, and actually knit that baby sweater out of it, which I already gave it to my sister-in-law, so I didn't get, I did show it to you. Never mind, I showed it to you. She really loved it. And this is a lot more orange than that one I had. But I'm going to use this with this Sport Weight mini pack. And I'm going to make, I think it's called the snake skin cowl. Oh yes, snake skin cowl. It's kind of like a chevron and you are knitting in the round. And I think that would be pretty. When am I going to cast it on? I don't know, but hopefully soon. And then I got this in the mail. Did you get yours in the mail yet? See these? I want to make these so bad. Ella Gordon, that's her name. That's the person who designed those. She's also designed a hat and a sweater with this craft house pattern on it. I got this last year as well and really liked it. It's made extremely well. It has all these articles. I mean, just look at that. Don't you just want to go there and visit? I do. I probably wouldn't want to leave ever though. So I'm really excited to read these articles. You look at that. That house is amazing. But yeah, I'm really excited to read the articles and look at the patterns. I haven't really gave it a good look at yet. And also what I got in the mail, and this is thanks to Katie from Inside Number 23 again. What is it called? Love at First Stitch. And there's some really nice dress patterns in here. And because I'm a beginner sewer, I think this is going to help me out a little bit. Let's see, I should have bookmarked the patterns I wanted to show you. Like I want to make this skirt. The Clements skirt, I think it's called. And the Megan dress. It's by Tilly Walness. I might be butchering that. There is the blog name that they're associated with. I will put it in the show notes. But I'm really excited about working through this as well. And now I want to talk about a book series that I have read over and over and over again. And now that the weather is getting a little cooler outside, you know, it's good to sit down, read a book, drink a cup of tea, do some knitting. And I thought I'd talk about a book series. Not all the book series. All the book series that I own that I read over and over again, but just one this time. It is called The Abortion Chronicles. Have you heard of it? This is the first book called Sabrielle. I love this name so much that I think I nicknamed myself Sabrielle Olive, which olive green at the time, and still is, one of my favorite colors. And here's the second one in the series, Lyriel. There's that dog. And this dog reminds me of our old dog when she was younger. That's what she looked like when she got older, she turned all white in the face. And here's the third abortion. Now, there's some zombies in this, and a scary necromancer. And see these bells? These bells, depending on what she wants to do with them, they take her into the death side. Like this, I think the biggest one actually takes her so deep into death that she can't return. So anyway, I highly recommend it. I'm not very good at describing these. And then this came out, Clariel, the 4th book. I haven't read it yet, and it's supposed to be a prequel. I'm kind of scared. You know when you read something and you just love it how it is, and they, like years and years down the road, they write something else, you get kind of nervous to read it because you don't want the original to be tainted, I guess. It's not, I don't even know if that's the right word, but I'm a little hesitant. And I've had this for over 2 years now, and it's just still sitting on my bookshelf. But yeah, this one I think obviously must have been my favorite because look at all the lines. Because I don't really, I mean, I guess I can kind of, you can kind of see them there. But she is a librarian, and I feel like I resonated with her more than Sabrielle, but I think Sabrielle's her mother. And yeah, it's a really good fantasy book. I haven't read it in a couple years, but maybe I should read it again. But I feel like if they made this into a movie, it would be extremely scary. But yeah, I mean, scary necromancer, zombies, what's not to love, right? What are you guys reading? What are some favorite trilogies, books that you're reading right now? Let's see. What am I reading? Right now I'm reading the first book of, I don't even know what the series would be called, but the Miss Peregrine's Home for Unusual Children. I just started it. I'm only on chapter 3, and I'm really, really loving it. Have you guys read that series yet? Did you like it? Let me know. Let's see. What have I been listening to? The True Crime Garage podcast. I was introduced to this podcast by my friend Mindy, and I think it's 2 guys that live in Ohio, and they sit around discussing true crime, and I'm addicted to it. It's so good. But then I feel a little guilty because I'm enjoying it so much, but then I remember that these are true stories, and then I feel a little guilty because I'm enjoying them talking about it. But I guess that's just how it goes. I don't know. And what I've been watching lately is, have you guys ever watched Agatha Reason? It is this murder mystery TV show. It's on Acorn TV, and it only has 1 season. And I don't know if they're going to make any more, but I really hope they do, because it's not like really like gory murder mystery. It's kind of funny, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I laughed out loud. And then also on Acorn TV, I just finished watching And Then There Were None, which was one of my favorite books in high school, and Aidan Turner's in it. And if you don't know who he was, or who he is, I'm sorry, he was the vampire in Being Human, the UK version, and one of the dwarves in The Hobbit. He was the one that had the love interest with the elf, which, I'm sorry, I don't know why that was even put in there. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. It was really good, really good. Oh. And of course, like almost probably the whole world, I've been trying to watch the Great British Bake Off, which I'll try to catch an episode on YouTube. I don't know why it's not readily available. I would even buy the stinking DVDs, or, you know, if it was on Amazon Prime, I'd purchase the digital copy, whatever. No, there's nothing. And I love that show so much. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I think that's enough waffling and rambling. I feel like I've rambled through this whole podcast. Anyways, yeah, so today it's rainy. This weekend, we are going to be hosting 2 birthday parties for my son. He's turning 6 on Monday. Saturday is the friends party, his first friends party, and it's spy themed. Woo. So we're gonna have like 10 kids here. Hopefully some parents stay and hang out with us. And then Sunday's the family party. So it's going to be party all the time this weekend. And so yeah, he turned 6 on Monday. And then my 8th wedding anniversary is Tuesday. Can't believe it. It's this gift is supposed to be pottery. So maybe I'll get a few dishes. I don't know yet. Usually I go by what the traditional gift is for the anniversary gifts. Last year was wool and copper, so Oak made us some copper rings, and I made a pair of socks for each of us. And yeah, so maybe some new dishes this year. I haven't decided yet. And yeah. Can't wait to talk with you guys again. Please subscribe if you really like the show, and go over to Ravelry and join the group if you'd like. Show notes will be there. I put show notes under the last episode, but I think I'm just going to put them in the Ravelry group. I might do both. I haven't decided yet. But talk with you guys later.